Tonight, no new confirmed coronavirus cases to report. The state total remains at 451. There has been one more death from COVID-19, bringing the total to 16. It's a Yellowstone County man in his 70s. 382 people have recovered. The number of active hospitalizations is down to 5. Good evening. I'm Tim McGonigal, Shannon Newth anchored our morning coverage. First at 10, the state outlined expanding COVID-19 testing protocols for Montana with a goal to identify, isolate, and slow the spread of the disease. Earlier today, Governor Steve Bullock announced a goal of 60,000 tests each month, including voluntary testing of residents and employees of assisted living facilities, tribal communities, and frontline healthcare workers. Bullock asked the public to continue to follow social distancing and hygiene guidelines and cautioned that healthcare experts do not think a vaccine will be available for quite some time.
That means that this virus is and will continue to be in Montana for the foreseeable future. That means that Montanans and our frontline healthcare workers will continue to battle this virus, as will each of us as we try to contain any spread.
Senator Steve Daines' office also announced today that Helena will be receiving a 3D printer to help print swabs for coronavirus testing. The printer was funded through the Phase 3 Coronavirus Economic Recovery Package signed into law last month. Well, many schools throughout Montana have made the choice to end classroom learning for the remainder of the year. The Great Falls District has been contemplating the idea. They will meet Friday at noon to decide. The board held a work session earlier this week, taking input from health professionals and community leaders. Now, they had originally scheduled Monday for the vote on the issue. Under Governor Steve Bullock's phased reopening of Montana, local school districts have the option to reopen on May 7th. Schools have been closed due to COVID-19 since March 15th. Already, AA school districts in Butte, Billings, Bozeman, and Helena have opted to continue with distance learning for the rest of the academic year. Well, Helena leaders say that they will have to delay some city projects in order to account for lower than expected fund balances. MTN's Jonathan Ambarian reports on what they say led to the issue.
Helena will postpone a number of public works projects in the coming year to cover millions of dollars in expected funding the city wasn't able to secure. The Helena City Commission discussed the issue Wednesday afternoon at an administrative meeting. Leaders say the city was expected to take out an additional $18 million in loans over the last 2 fiscal years. Because they didn't get that financing, the city's water, stormwater, wastewater, and streets funds were depleted. Leaders say the issue arose because of staff turnover and department reorganization. Helena's Public Works and Finance directors both left their positions last year, and the Public Works Department was split into 2 departments.
There weren't a lot of controls in place to make sure that the right people were informed at the right time to get all these loans initiated.
City department heads said they worked together to determine which projects could be delayed. Staff members say they will move forward with those that are linked to public safety and urgent infrastructure needs and to commission priorities. They also say they've implemented guidelines to make sure more employees are involved with the loan process, so this type of issue doesn't happen again. In Helena, Jonathan Ambarian, MTN News.
The city of Helena is set to consider the preliminary budget for next year at a city commission meeting on Monday evening. Well, the Montana Department of Justice has hired its next statewide missing persons specialist. Brian Frost started in the position on Monday. He has worked for the department for more than 10 years, including 3.5 working on the State Criminal Justice Information Network and Missing Persons Clearinghouse. He's also provided missing persons training to law enforcement and to the public. Frost replaces the first missing persons specialist, Misty LaPlante. She resigned last month. Frost says he wants to keep educating the public about the support that is available in missing persons cases.
One of the things I really want to do is dispel that myth of we have a waiting period to report your loved one missing. And for us, you're going to talk to your friends, your family. You're going to try to find that loved one before you call law enforcement, and that's all perfectly reasonable. But just remember that there is no waiting period and that people should call right away if a loved one is missing.
Frost said he wants to remind people that law enforcement is still treating missing persons cases the same despite COVID-19 restrictions. He said they have seen a number of missing youth reported in recent weeks, but many have been found safely. Ballots for Montana's primary election will be mailed to all currently registered voters on May 8th, but if you're not registered, there's still plenty of time to register and get a ballot mailed to you. Due to the coronavirus outbreak, the June 2nd primary election will be Montana's first statewide all-mail-in ballot. County election workers across the state are getting ballots ready to mail a week from Friday to all registered voters. If you're not registered, you have until late May to send a signed voter registration form to your local county election office, and you'll still get a ballot mailed to you. After May 26th, election officials recommend you register in person to ensure your ballot will be on time and be counted. And if you're not sure you're registered, election officials say you should visit the state website myvoterpagemt.com to check your status.
If your address is correct and your status is active, you're set to have a ballot mailed to you on May 8th. If you're not registered or you need to update your address or you're inactive, then you should send in an updated form to us as soon as possible so that we can mail you a ballot on May 8th. We'll continue to send out ballots daily, starting May 8th and daily until the day before the election.
Voter registration continues up until and through Election Day on June 2nd. Coming up this weekend, it will be your first chance to see all of the major party candidates for governor debate the issues important to Montana. Produced in partnership with the Montana Broadcasters Association and the Greater Montana Foundation, the governor debate kicks off at 6 p.m. with the Democratic candidates, followed by the 3 Republican candidates at 7, right here on MTN. Our Storm Tracker weather team has been tracking a very warm day today. Temperatures reaching over 80 degrees in parts of the area. Brandon Michaels joins us now. Brandon, for many of us, today was the warmest day of the year.
Yeah, it was. In fact, a lot of us beat that old mark by a lot, sometimes more than 10 degrees. Let's take a look at some of the temperature stats from the warmest day of 2020 so far. Great Falls, 10 degrees warmer than the previous warmest day. Hit 80 in Great Falls, 83 in Helena. Prior to today, the warmest day was 70 degrees. Lewistown and Cutbank and Havre breaking their temperature marks as well. Glasgow tying at 76 degrees. We'll look at the high temperatures across the state. Everybody either in the 70s or the 80s today, so there really wasn't any cool spots across the entire state. It's still very mild here this evening. We're looking at temperatures as cool as about 51 in Glendive to as warm as 70 degrees in Helena. It's still 67 in Great Falls as well. So really mild temperatures here this evening. We are now starting to see some rain moving in, though. We can see that moving toward Great Falls and parts of I-19 and even up toward Havre, and with more moisture west of the divide. And in general, we're going to see more showers through the night tonight and into the day tomorrow, and we'll have more on that coming up later in the show.
All right, thanks, Brandon. Well, NBAR, The Block, and Pasta Montana are teaming up to give back to the Great Falls community. They donated a little over 1,000 pounds of dried pasta and 500 jars of marinara sauce to Great Falls Public Schools. The businesses saw this as an opportunity to help fill up food pantries and help others in times of need.
Just this time of year, the food pantries for the Great Falls Public Schools a little bit short, so we saw it as a need and thought that we could jump in there and use our resources to do good.
Many Montanans are turning to nonprofits to help feed their families. One Helena photographer recognized the need to give back. As MTN's Evelyn Schultz reports, she's now using her artistic talents to help others and turn a negative into a positive.
As a photographer, Misty Bowles views the world through a unique lens.
I transitioned into women's portraiture and boudoir about 5 years ago.
But like other small businesses, she felt the pandemic's pressure after it forced her to temporarily shut down her studio.
And it really was, for me, a wake-up moment of, oh, well, I could sit here and watch my business just slowly deteriorate and watch my savings I would just plunder, or I could do something better.
That shift in focus transformed into a way to give back while guiding her business through a tough time.
I was always taught that, helping others is always going to make it better.
She posted an offer: donate $99 to Helena Food Share and receive a complimentary boudoir session with hair and makeup.
My goal was $1,000 is what I was hoping for. We were able to give $5,544 to Helena Food Share in 3 days.
Almost 60 women from across Montana and even someone in Salt Lake City booked a session with Misty. A proud moment for this entrepreneur who wanted to pay it forward.
Sometimes we look at our $100 donation and go, that can't really go very far, but to put all of those women's money together and be able to write a check to them, I think helps be a part of something bigger.
That was Evelyn Schultz reporting. Money is especially important for Helena Food Share right now since coronavirus is preventing them from accepting food donations. Misty says she will hopefully be able to start sessions back up in the middle of May. For now, her calendar is booked until September. Well, a mother-daughter duo in the capital city is creating masks for small businesses as they open. Kelly Robeson first started making masks after her daughter was required to wear one at work. The pair has made about 400 masks as of last week. The first 300 were donated to community members. When Governor Bullock released his plan to reopen the state, Kelly realized small businesses needed masks to open. And they now have about 50 mask requests with 100 masks made for 7 Helena businesses. Kelly makes the masks with donated material or buys them with financial donations.
Helena is here even in little ways for their small business. So it's just a little way to give back to them. It just makes me feel like I can contribute to the community in a way that not everybody can.
Coming up, where's the beef? Montana farmers and ranchers know, and they're asking the federal government to let them distribute it.
Powered by the Montana Television Network. The 10 o'clock news continues on Montana's News Leader.
Welcome back. As we all continue to cope with the ongoing effects of the COVID-19 pandemic, Governor Steve Bullock is pressing the USDA to allow Montana farmers and ranchers to help feed those Montanans hardest hit by coronavirus. Here with more on the story is the Montana Ag Network's Russell Nemitz.
Well, during this ongoing COVID-19 pandemic, Montana Governor Steve Bullock has sent a letter to Agriculture Secretary Sonny Perdue to allow some local processing to help avoid food waste and to also get some local meat to Montana food banks to distribute to Montanans hit hardest by the impacts of the coronavirus.
Well, I think it's definitely important to consumers. I think more importantly, it's important to agriculture in general. I don't know that it was going to be an explosive opportunity for processors as much as it is for farmers and ranchers being able to utilize their cattle and put them out to where people can use them right here in the state. You know, granted, there's going to be an uptick for those processors to have that opportunity as well, but these farmers and ranchers are just struggling to get stuff out the door, get them on trucks, get them out of state. So if we can do something with them right here in the state and be our own community and utilize that from end to end, it's going to benefit a lot of people, to be honest with you.
The governor's letter comes on the heels after the USDA recently denied a request by the Montana Department of Livestock to consider modified protocols.
We've had lots of situations here while we've dealt with the COVID-19 crisis where some of our farmers and ranchers have lost markets for live animals to be processed. We've been attempting in some cases to get those sold or donated to food banks. Currently, the custom exempt processors around the state, the product that's processed there can only be used for home use. It can't go into what would be a commerce activity like food banks. So we've been really trying to see if we can get some flexibility to use all of our processors, not just our retail processors, in getting this product taken care of so we don't waste these commodities and waste these products.
And whether it's now during these challenging times or when things get back to normal, there's never a reason to waste food, especially when there's hungry people going without.
There's never a reason for waste. I mean, people are still eating the same amount, right? Just because restaurants or whatever might be going on, they're still eating the same amount of stuff. So there's got to be a use for it. It's got to be a capability. It's just a matter of having the capacity from a processing standpoint to utilize that product.
In Billings, Russell Nemitz, MTN News.
Governor Bullock also asked the USDA to encourage new ideas to reduce barriers for Montana meat processing capacity and improve markets for rural producers in Montana over the long term.
Well, today's weather very warm, but now our attention turning to some storms in the forecast. I'll tell you what to expect after the break.
Thanks. Now, here's your Storm Tracker weather forecast with meteorologist Brandon Michaels.
Well, it was very warm today, still pretty warm tonight. Plenty of spots still in the 60s here this evening, 66 in Fort Benton, 67 in Great Falls. And like we showed you earlier, it's still 70 degrees in Helena. They were the warm spot across the state today, still the warm spot tonight right now. In Havre, we're at 63, and also 63 in Glasgow. We had really warm air right on top of us, the warmest air of the season with this big ridge. For the most part, that's going to be breaking down for tomorrow. Eastern Montana still going to be very warm, but the rest of us going to be looking at slightly cooler temperatures and quite a bit of moisture moving in. So some showers in the forecast, and actually not just showers in the forecast. We've got the potential for some thunderstorms really across almost the entire state. Anywhere in that lighter green could see at least a weak thunderstorm. In the darker green here, there's actually a very small risk, but a risk nonetheless of some strong to severe storms. So we are going to be tracking a little bit of an active day tomorrow. And we are tracking a little bit of activity here tonight. Mostly just light shower activity. Are picking up some very light, more sprinkles than anything else toward Great Falls and even toward Helena. The heavier rains are still kind of situated to the north of Great Falls, right on I-15, with plenty of moisture off to the west. And that moisture is going to continue to move in through the night tonight. So here's midnight. In general, everything just shifts over a little bit. Through the night tonight, still tracking more rain. Just spotty showers here and there. Not a great chance that we're going to pick up significant rain overnight. That continues to lift off to the east through the day tomorrow. So by tomorrow at noon, northeast Montana's got some light showers, but most of us are just dealing with mostly cloudy to partly cloudy skies. And then as we head into later into the afternoon, we're going to start to see the development of another pretty good line of storms. And you can see that down between about Great Falls and Bozeman there. That's where we're seeing some development, more development into the evening hours and even into tomorrow night. We're looking at the potential for some showers and storms. So that's what we've got our eye on for tomorrow. A decent chance that we'll pick up some rain. And again, a decent chance that we'll see some storms developing as well. Cooler tomorrow, but still not too bad for this time of year and actually pretty mild tonight. 53 in Hayes, 52 in Havre, 51 in Great Falls, 52 for Helena, 53 in Glasgow, and 54 for the overnight low in Jordan. Temperatures through the day tomorrow, they're going to be increasing to a comfortable range, but by the afternoon, you'll notice they kind of plane out. I think this model might be a little bit on the lower side, but in general, we're looking at above average temperatures, but not as warm as today, at least for about half of the area. Generally, the western half is looking a little bit cooler. You look over to the east, though, really nice temperatures. 81 in Malta, 82 in Glasgow, 83 in Jordan. So some spots actually warmer than they were today. As far as the winds, 10 to 20 miles per hour, so a noticeable breeze, stronger up toward Glacier County. And of course, with thunderstorms in the forecast, gusty winds are always a threat as those storms move through. So gusty winds and a little bit of hail are the big threats for tomorrow with the storms that are going to be developing. And again, they are likely through the day, especially a bit later in the day. 73 for the high on Thursday. Sunshine for Friday and Saturday. Beautiful day on Saturday. Some more scattered storm activity into the day on Sunday. And then as we head into next week, a couple of slight chances for rain here and there, but nothing too significant as far as the forecast for Helena now. Again, showers and storms likely. Probably a little better chance of rain in Helena compared to Great Falls. Mostly sunny Friday and Saturday. By Saturday afternoon, probably one or two little pop-up showers here and there too. Better chance for some showers and storms into Sunday. And in general, temperatures are trending cooler as we head into next week, mainly 50s and 60s. Tim?
Thanks, Brandon. Ahead, there's been a lot of talking baseball during the pandemic. The Great Falls Chargers are ready to play it. See how their preparations have changed.
Powered by the Montana Television Network. The 10 o'clock news continues on Montana's News Leader.
Well, we told you on Tuesday that Legion baseball teams in Montana were cleared to take the field in Phase 1 of Governor Bullock's reopening plan. Now, MTN's Tom Wiley shows what practicing in a pandemic looks like for the Great Falls Chargers.
For a second at Don Olson Field, you could almost forget that we were in the middle of a global pandemic. For the first time in what seems like forever, an organized sports team is practicing.
It's exciting just to be out here. You know, when this whole thing first started, there was a lot of doubt that we'd be able to get to this point. And just kind of nice to get back to a little bit of some normalcy.
When Governor Bullock announced a phased reopening in Montana, it opened up the door for the state's 62 Legion baseball teams to begin practicing. The Great Falls Chargers received approval from the Cascade County Health Department on Tuesday morning and hit the field later that afternoon, albeit with some changes.
We kind of submitted a proposal to them of how we were going to practice. We're running 2 sessions, so we limit the amount of kids that we have out here at one time. Try to stay 6 feet apart. I know it's kind of hard to do out here playing catch and stuff like that.
After at practice, we have to take out every ball and wipe it down. It takes time out of our practice and what we could be doing more stuff, but we got to stay safe too. So
Games are still a ways off. The Chargers are eyeing May 22nd as their potential Legion opener, but that's all contingent on Montana moving to Phase 2 of reopening.
If we get into Phase 2 and we're able to play games, there would be no fans in there. We'll have to live stream games for people to watch. I think at this point we'll take whatever we can get.
Despite the added challenges of social distancing at practice and the uncertainty of what the future holds for Legion baseball, there's no place the Chargers would rather be and nothing they'd rather be doing.
Now we don't have a schedule and we just kind of going with the flow. So we don't know how to really prepare right now, but it feels like we're getting back to normal and we're just taking the steps to get there.
Tom Wiley, MTN News.
And teams will begin practice on a city-by-city basis. If you'd like more information on which teams are moving forward and what precautions are in place, you can visit montanasports.com. The city of Helena will begin Phase 1 of easing restrictions at some parks and popular areas starting next week. Parks are open, but playgrounds and play areas will stay closed for the foreseeable future. Starting Monday, the city will allow food trucks in parks and on the walking mall. Social distancing guidelines will remain in place. No large gatherings will be allowed, which means no concerts or special events. Fields cannot be used for sporting events. Muni's Bar and Grill will reopen with some limited seating. We'll be right back with a final check of your forecast.
Welcome back. We are tracking a good amount of showers across north central Montana this evening, some of those extending into western Montana too. So we do have a little chance for a bit of rain through the night tonight. Mostly cloudy skies other than those couple showers here and there. Temperatures mainly in the 50s, so it is going to be a pretty mild night tonight and in general a warm day tomorrow. Even though it's not going to be as warm as today was for all of us, some spots are going to actually be a little bit warmer. Off to the east, we're looking at high temperatures all the way into the 80s, 60s and 70s to the west. And of course, we are going to be tracking showers and some thunderstorms through the day.
All right, well, Eagle Mount is adjusting their role to comply with Phase 1 of the governor's reopening of Montana. The nonprofit's summer program includes taking horses to nursing homes and assisted living facilities for distant viewing. The idea is to bring smiles to residents who don't get out too much. They'll have a horse and mini horse dressed as bandits, complete with cowboy hats and bandanas. And for the residents, seeing the animals is like taking a trip down memory lane.
You know, we've got a lot of people who have either they're ranchers or they've had horses or they just love animals. And so, a couple of them are talking about their dads and how they used to ride horses when they were kids with their dads. And it brings a lot of wonderful memories back, and it's just a wonderful talking point for them.
And Eagle Mountain will be taking that program to Beehive Homes in Great Falls tomorrow. Great program.
Yeah.
You can't go to the circus or to the
zoo, what have you.
Wherever,
comes
bring
to
it to you. All right, that's all the time we have. Have a great night.